Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we decide the round of 12 here in the Cup Series at the Charlotte Roval, but first we have the Truck Series and Xfinity Series races to do for the second race of both of their playoff rounds here, where we go to Canada, my home track actually here, for the Truck Series, where we had Noah Gragson in the truck. Decided to get him in there. Obviously, him being a Chevrolet driver in the Xfinity Series for JRM, it works over well as a nice little crossover to where he could come into our truck here in Canada, where unfortunately, though, he had to start at the back of the field after crashing in qualifying. So, unfortunate, but he had to, of course, work his way throughout the field here as he was immediately jumping up right on the wheel and just driving around everybody, though, because, I mean, usually Canada, we've always had a good past at this track. I can't remember if I won here when I was driving in the Truck Series or not, because it has been since like September or so since we were, or I myself was driving in the Truck Series, so it's been quite a while now, as Gragson, though, made a lot of passes in this first and opening lap, as he actually saw the 16 right there of Austin Hill actually went off the track, but Gragson being very aggressive here on this opening lap, just like he is in real life, very aggressive, sometimes too aggressive, and it kind of, sometimes it does bite him in the back, but either way, Gragson was moving his way through the field pretty quickly, like I said, as he actually got a little bit of a skirmish there with the 75 of Parker Kligerman, but he would be able to make the pass there as he came through down towards turns 1 on the inside of the 51 of, I believe that's Christian Eckes, but we came straight through to the final lap, actually, where he was making a move up the inside of the 22 and the 4 of Todd Gilliland, and he would get past them and then close in on the back of Matt Crafton here in just the final few corners now here in Canada, but unfortunately he couldn't quite do anything with Crafton there as it came through the last turn, as he pushed really hard, and on the exit he actually lost the back end of the truck, but would hang on to it to cross the line for at least a very solid 7th place finish, as Brett Moffitt would win. And obviously, if you remember last episode, we got the win in the Truck Series with Greg Biffle at Bristol, so we're already locked into the final round of the playoffs. So we, or not the final round of the playoffs, to the next round of the playoffs. It would be very nice if we were locked into the final round of the playoffs, so in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. But we come through to the Xfinity Series here for the Charlotte Roval weekend. Probably one of my favorite weekends on the NASCAR schedule, so always excited to come to this racetrack. And we come through here into the Xfinity Series, where we had longtime subscriber Colby in the car, Colby 607 here, as he started a little bit outside of the top 10. We come into this race, you see him being very aggressive into turns 1, actually getting into the back of the driver that was just in our truck of Noah Gragson, but being very aggressive because the point situation isn't very pretty for us right now here in the Xfinity Series. We come into this race, I think 13 points or so below the cut line, so we have a lot of work to do with that, and that means we need a very good finish here in the Charlotte Roval to hopefully set us up well going into the final race of this first round. And Colby, though, who was moving his way forwards very, very quickly here in the Charlotte Roval, he would actually climb up into, I think, P3 here on the opening lap, but that, surprisingly, was as far as he would get till the final lap here, as he was making a move on the right-hand side of Joey Gase, who was somehow running up in second. He would go 3 wide with Gase and Justin Allgaier here on the final lap there and in the Charlotte Roval, but he would come out on top of this little battle right here as he came through into second place through the oval turns 3 and out of turns 4. So when we were in need of a very strong finish here in the Xfinity Series, Colby would come through to deliver just that as we come through to finish P2 in the Charlotte Roval. Unfortunately, it wasn't a win, but still a great result. Justin Haley, though, picks up the victory here in Charlotte. So you're going to see the playoff grid here for the Xfinity Series really quick. And we came in, like I said, 13 or so out. We're still 8 points out. So still some work to do now as we come to myself here in the Cup Series for qualifying in the Charlotte Roval. There's actually make a mistake coming to my lap, and just like that, we are not going to get to do a qualifying lap because I just bend it here, and that means we have to give up our qualifying position, and we are going to start at the very back of the pack. It's been a rough first round of the playoffs so far, and it looks like it's going to continue, though, with Denny Hamlin on the pole for the Eliminator race to decide the round of 12.
We're back in North Carolina for the Bank of America Roval 400. Now, after today, the playoff field will go from 16 to 12. To advance, drivers will have to tame the Roval, which combines the infield road course with the traditional mile-and-a-half oval. NASCAR playoff racing is up next.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the Bank of America Roval 400 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jimmy Johnson did not have a good practice session. Jamie McMurray starts up at the back of the field after failing technical inspection. And there you see your pole winner of Denny Hamlin, who's been so dominant this season, as we will be starting at the back of the field as well after crashing before we even got to start our qualifying lap. Now, as the green flag is out and we are underway, and we come into this race not very safe right now. I think we're over 40 points to the good, and I think around 41 to the good, if I'm not mistaken. So if we have a terrible, terrible race, then we might actually not be in good shape here now, as I was deciding to play it pretty conservative on this opening few corners, just trying to make sure we don't run into the back of any of the slow cars, but then I would jump kind of out to this far left lane here and be able to make up some ground now, as we want to get whatever stage points we can, but I was looking at stage 1 being very unlikely to pick up any stage points, and we've struggled this whole first round of the playoffs to get stage points, and obviously this is an eliminator race, so Chase Elliott, kind of the driver we really need to watch. He came into this race, I think 7 points below the cut line. Elliott was well above the cut line, but he DNF'd in the first stage of the last race at Richmond after a big crash there out of turns 2, if I remember correctly. So we would actually go down onto the apron here to make a pass, which is completely legal. I did not do anything wrong there. Now as I exit oval turns 2, and we would send it up the inside of the 66 of Joey Gase down into the bus stop. I kind of overshot the corner just a little bit, but we would still be able to exit the bus stop back up the left-hand side and make the pass. So we're up into P27 in the first probably 3/4 of this lap, and you see how quickly I close in on Kligerman and Ty Dillon. We drive right on past them, leave them in the dust behind us now as we come in through to this final chicane right on the back of the 00 of Landon Castle. As we come to complete this first lap, we gain about 14-15 spots up into P25 here as we go down into turns 1. And we just continued to move our way forwards as we started already closing in on the back of a few playoff contenders like William Byron and the 37 of Chris Buescher, who was just in front of Byron at this point as we come through the lap 3 of 5 in the first stage. We go 3 wide here, getting into those little pylons there on the left, but that was okay. We would make the pass on the 36 of Tift and the 24 of Byron. Keep in mind, stage 1, 2, very short here at every road course in the game, so we don't have a lot of time to make anything happen. So we were up into P17 now, as we would actually get very sideways though out of that corner and then completely lose that progress. We dropped down to P19 behind the 37 of Buescher and the 24 of Byron, but then we would fight back to the inside of Byron here on the 4th lap of this race. Just 2 to go here in stage 1 now, as we would exit the bus stop, get through there pretty good, and pull away from William Byron, who's behind me. Denny Hamlin, though, was already on the final lap of the first stage. He was just breezing his way through to the stage victory. Now as we come through down into the final chicane, approaching the white flag, is actually getting to the back of the 37, and we're going to send him spinning here on the final lap now in stage 1. That's going to bring out a caution and end stage 1 about 3/4 of a lap soon for the leaders now, as that was all me. They slowed down so hard in that chicane, and I just drilled into the back of the 37. I feel really stupid about that, of course, but we didn't take any points away from him, and he only lost 1 position, so it's not like we impacted his playoffs very much right there. Now, as we would not pit, though, and just get right back into the action here for the start of the second stage of Denny Hamlin, who won stage 2. Chase Elliott was up inside the top 10, and I think that if Chase Elliott just continues to do what he is doing, he's going to make it into the next round of the playoffs. Now is actually getting the wall there on the left-hand side, as we're 3 wide for a moment with both Clint Boyer and our rival of Daniel Suarez, and it really looks like Suarez is going to be our rival right up to the end of this career mode. Now as we exit the corner, and there's a little bit of contact there, just barely, with the 41 of Suarez. Now as I go off the track, actually just trying to make sure I give him room and then actually get into the grass doing that, but thankfully we keep it straight now as we pass Almirola up into P13 now, still right on the back of Suarez as I get right on his left rear now as we enter the oval section of the track, and we're actually going to be able to clear Daniel Suarez through oval turns 1, and surprisingly he doesn't get right up to my back bumper. We're actually able to power away from him just a little bit as I look to the outside of the 22 of Joey Logano, right on the back now of the 2 of Keselowski. As we go down towards the bus stop, we kind of overshoot again, and we get to the back of the 4. There's a big group of cars. The 4 goes into the barriers, and so does the 22 behind me, and the caution is going to come out again here in Charlotte now, all once again because of me, unfortunately. Now as this is going to set up for a very late stage 2 restart here at the Roval, with Denny Hamlin still out front at this point. Only 2 laps remain here in stage 2. Like I said, that incident once again was my fault. I wasn't really anticipating such a checkup, which I should have been ready for. because we had like 4 or 5 cars at least in that little group there, and you know they're going to slow up early. I knew they were going to slow up early, and I still didn't really change my braking habit. So that was all on me. There's like into the right rear of the 9 of Chase Elliott, but he is holding on to some stage points right now. Got to be careful racing around him because we know how important every single point is right now. To the 9 cars, Daniel Suarez actually gives me a little bit of a punt now and then. I get loose and hit the concrete barrier, and now we got a little bit of visual damage on the right side, but it doesn't look like it was any damage that was doing anything. But we would climb up to P8 after passing Kevin Harvick down into the bus stop. The 9 car actually gets into the back of me, and then I got into the 1. The 1 goes sliding into the barrier just like the 4 did last time before the caution came out, and then once again the caution comes up because he touched the barrier. So that would end stage 2. Denny Hamlin would be the stage winner in every caution so far in this race. I have played a role in it, so definitely not going the way we wanted. But we did get stage points, thankfully, as I would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. We would come out in the same spot that we came in. And now the third and final stage of the round of 16 would be underway. Just 15 laps to go, but 15 laps at the Charlotte Roval can definitely take a good chunk of time. We've been working our way forwards this whole race so far after crashing in qualifying, starting at the back of the field, obviously, due to not being able to complete a qualifying lap. And now here we are trying to work our way up inside the top 5 here as we work on the right-hand side of our teammate of Kurt Busch. He won the last race at Richmond, so he's already locked in, and we're not locked in at all right now as well. We should be probably about 40 or so still points to the good above that cut line right now, so we don't really have a lot to worry about. We could probably finish 40th and still make it into the next round by a few points now as we come through to actually pass Eric Jones, Kyle Busch there in that 3-wide move, and now we are inside the top 5 here in the third and final stage at the Charlotte Roval. There you see Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, and Kyle Busch battling it all out behind myself for 6th, 7th, and 8th now as we go down into the bus stop. In front of us, it was Truex, Ryan Blaney, Matt DiBenedetto holds on to P2, and then Denny Hamlin out front here in the Roval. He won stage 1, he won stage 2, and he looks to just completely dominate this whole race. And the AI, they really do have a tough time passing each other once you are no longer on a restart. Probably, they got about 3/4 of a lap, I would say, to make their passes, and then after that, they're just kind of stuck in a single file line now. So hopefully we do kind of see that improved in NASCAR Heat 5 at a track especially like the Charlotte Roval now as we came through to lap 16 of 28. We were just closing in a little bit on Truex. We come through a lap later on lap 17. We had closed in a little bit more now as we were starting to put the pressure on Blaney and Truex, who ran P3 and P4. Hamlin, though, had the pressure from Matt DiBenedetto, but like I was just talking about, he really didn't have to worry about DiBenedetto even having a chance to make a pass on him now as we came through on lap 18. Just 11 laps to go here in the Roval, and it was just kind of surprising how much I was actually struggling to be able to make a pass myself, and then the caution came out with 11 to go. I decide we're going to put just enough fuel in the car. I decide we're also going to take no tires because we really don't need tires to make it to the end here. We will be okay. But will the AI take tires? Well, yes, they did. We would move through into the lead here for what could be the final restart, but I wasn't really concerned. This time I know that even the AI had fresher tires. We're still going to be able to hold our own at a track like the Charlotte Roval. So we're now out front in control, and hopefully we can hold off the 11 of Denny Hamlin, though he's on my right side, though, already on the exit of turns 1 as we head down into turns 2. I barely clipped the wall there on the left hand side as we go down into turns 3, approaching now turns 4, and myself and Hamlin would be side by side through turns 4 as we exit off the track. They're trying to get as much speed as I can now as we head down in through turns 5 and 6. Hamlin, though, looks like he might be able to pull this thing off now as he just has such a strong race car right now, and that's not the first time we've seen that from him this season. Hamlin, really just this whole career mode, he's been so strong. There was one season where he struggled. Now as he would clear me, though, into the oval section of the track. Blaney just behind myself in P3, but I was still confident that I would have the speed to hold, or at least hang with Denny Hamlin here as we went down this back stretch down towards this bus stop. Just trying to be a little bit defensive over the 12 of Blaney, just trying to hold him off there. Eric Jones would actually get up the right-hand side for a brief moment of Blaney as they kind of drifted back a little bit now as we came towards the end of lap 22 there. I kind of screwed up to the chicane with 6 laps to go, and that would allow Hamlin to pull away a little bit. Blaney was actually still putting the pressure on me, but just didn't quite have an opportunity to get past myself here as we come through turns 2, very close to that concrete wall there on the left, as I was still able, though, to stick with Denny Hamlin here, knowing that time was running out, and I think actually his 4 fresh tires was actually helping him just a little bit. Now as we came through, though, on lap 24, 5 laps to go, we get right to the back of Denny Hamlin now. A nice comfortable gap over 3rd place of Ryan Blaney, but out of turns 1 I get loose, and that once again would allow Hamlin to just be in just kind of that safe zone there as we came through. Just 3 laps to go now. A few laps later, still hanging right there with the 11 of Hamlin, but I just didn't quite have what I needed to be able to make a move on him. Almost had a chance right there now as we cut through to the left, trying to get to the left-hand side, just couldn't quite make it happen. Now as we come back to the oval section of this track, only 3 laps to go, approaching 2 to go here in the Charlotte Roval as we come through oval turns 1 and 2, just doing everything I could to stick with them. We would come through to 2 laps to go here as we go down into turns 1 now, and we make a big mistake, and we go crashing through turns 1 now, and just like that, our race is completely shattered. 14 seconds of damage, which means I would have to give up 1 lap due to my own custom DNF rule, and just like that, we completely throw the race away with my own racing mistake. I cut down into turns 1 way too hard, trying to get whatever I could, and it just tossed me into the barrier. So like I said, I had to give up a lap. Hamlin came through now to take the white flag. There was overtime because of my caution, or because of my crash, obviously now. So we would rejoin and just get back into it, just to bring the car back across the line here in the Charlotte Roval. But it was Denny Hamlin who would obviously be setting sail at this point. He was coming through now the final chicane to win here in the Charlotte Roval, and just kind of rough first round of the playoffs is going to end in a rough fashion. Now as I make another mistake there coming to the line, we finished P39 here in the Charlotte Roval. Did not go like we needed it to here, unfortunately. Our final time at Charlotte, it just did not go well. Daniel Suarez actually finished 40th, but there you see the finishing order on your screen, but I think there was actually a glitch with the finishing order. Either way, though, we should still be okay to make it into the next round of the playoffs. But there you see Chase Elliott, he had his pretty solid finish. I'm pretty sure he made it into the next round, which we are about to find out. And sure enough, Elliott is the final car in the round of 12, so he made it by 4 points. Busher, Boyer, Austin Dillon, William Byron are the 4 eliminated here from the round of 16, and we are all the way down to P10 after that one. But we will get the now updated playoff grid going into the round of 12, but just so disappointing to we've had so much success at the Charlotte Roval in the NASCAR Heat 4 and even NASCAR Heat 3 career mode, and then we kind of end the Heat 4 Charlotte Roval career on a very low blow. But like I said, you guys are going to see now the updated playoff grid. We go to Dover next time. I'm very confident going into a track like Dover. We've always run well there, so we'll see what we can do in that one. But there you see the playoff grid. So we are 8 points out, like I said, in Xfinity. Trucks were good, and there you see we go into the round of 12 for the Cup Series. 15 points to the good. Harvick, Truex there on the outside looking in. Ryan Blaney was also on the outside looking in. Now as I was just kind of looking through to see where I finished previously at the tracks in this next round, and we've finished pretty good at Dover, Talladega, and Kansas. So that will do it, though, for this episode. So if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do, and I'll see you guys in the next one where we start the round of 12. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.